What's cracking, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, and as always, thank you guys for tuning in. Really appreciate each and every one of you. Just got done watching round 4 of World Supercross in Stockholm, Sweden, the penultimate round of the series. And coming into this race, we had an epic 3-way 450 championship fight that just got even tighter with 3 riders only separated by 1 point. And not only is the title fight insane, but the track was way more insane. It's as if Seattle and Indy had a love child. But the guys had to tame the beast, they had no choice. And then in the 250 class, we finally had some action as Billy Madison's perfect streak is over and the title is still barely alive. We saw electric bikes way further up front than we have the rest of the season, with Michael Hicks leading some laps and Vince Friese running up front and almost inserting himself as a championship obstacle. But in today's video, we'll do a brief recap and get into all that and more. But before we do, got to give a huge thank you to my channel sponsors. They help keep us going. ASV Inventions, home of the unbreakable lever, Serious Studio, who can take care of all your merch needs, and then the designlabco.com. They got some great designs in their lab at their co, and if you guys buy from them, a small slice of the sale goes to me to help support the channel and keep us going. So if you support them, you are literally supporting me. And shout out to Simplify, a brand new sponsor of the channel. They're an automatic booking and payment system built for solo entrepreneurs. Whether you're a moto coach, trainer, or really any kind of business where you have clients booking you, Simplify will make your business way more efficient, way more profitable, and it'll make your life way the hell easier. Go to simplify.earth to sign up and use the code MAT9509 to save. I have all the rest of my links and discount codes in my video description, and I hope you guys enjoy today's video. To start off, like we always do, some thoughts on the track, and that was quite possibly the most insane Supercross track I've ever seen. It's definitely the most insane one I've seen in a long time. Like I said at the beginning, it reminded me of like if Indy and Seattle Supercross had a love child, because they're both insane, and I feel like this one was a combo of the worst aspects of both of them, but it didn't seem like they had much to work with as far as the dirt. I mean, it was just straight mushy, like almost the quicksand national. Even they had a rhythm section or two whenever they first went out for the free practices, but they ended up having to take them out because I saw some clips on Instagram, and they were put with circus music in the background, and it fit very well because, yeah, actually looked like a clown show, just how gnarly it was, and the best guys in the world trying to get through it. It was a little bit too much. It was a section of like 5 doubles. It was like the Loretta Lynn's 10 Commandments on steroids, made of nightmares, but that's what ended up kind of being that roller section. The rest of the layout, it was good. I think there was one more rhythm section they kind of had to flatten out, and then I'm sure kind of as the day went, they kind of had to mellow it out as they went just to make sure that everybody left in one piece. I don't think they brought enough coffins to leave it as the original layout with how rutted and soft it was. I mean, they even had a big-ass double that was supposed to go over the start straight on the track map, and if that was there, I don't think it would have been good for anybody, but the track was unbelievably challenging. I feel like the crew did a pretty good job of at least keeping up with it as best they could, because it wouldn't take long. In those 8-lap sprints, the track would already just get Gnarls Barkley destroyed, and they did a good job keeping up with it. I don't think Versace Savatgy liked it, because the more Gnarls Barkley, the better for him. But as far as the safety of, yeah, pretty much the rest of the field, I feel like they did a really good job on all that. And surprisingly enough, the thing that probably held up the best were the whoops. It's been pretty cool in World Supercross. I don't know if they had more than 9 this time, but pretty much every other round they had more than 9 whoops, and they've been a serious factor in the racing. Jumping hasn't even really been that viable of an option, so we've kind of seen people just have to nut up and send it and have to skim and pound through there. So that's been a cool aspect. Just because AMA Supercross, we haven't seen that for a couple years now, so it's cool to kind of see some of those forgotten, forbidden obstacles back in action and back in the contract. But that was the track. Then a few thoughts on the broadcast, because in past videos I've been a little bit critical of it, and I'm a huge believer of kind of calling things how I see them. You know, if things aren't good, I kind of like to point it out, but more than anything, if things are good, then I really like to give credit where it's due, because positivity, I think, is way better than negativity. I think more positivity would make the world go round, and I think the broadcast has gotten a lot better over the last couple of rounds. You know, at the beginning, they were having some problems where the camera wasn't quite following the battles exactly. Like, even on the start, you would kind of just watch the back half of the field. It was kind of grinding my gears that they were talking about Roxon as if he was, like, in the championship for the season. But now that we all know he's out, at least that's in the rear view. And the broadcast is definitely getting better. Now that it's not a 3-man booth, I feel like it's a lot better with just Ralph and DB. DB still does get talked over a little bit with Ralph, but I think that's kind of going to be in DB's contract. Ralph seems pretty amped up, and he just kind of blurts out whatever he's thinking, which I understand. I kind of do the same thing, and I'm about to do Arena Cross TV with DB, so hopefully he doesn't have to deal with a Timu Ralph just talking all over him about Arena Cross too. But overall, broadcast is a lot better. There were still a couple times where they went to a replay when I think some action was about to go down, but DB did tell me these guys are brand new at producing Supercross. I think it was even a different production crew from round 1 to round 2. So if I'm not fake news on those facts, then that would mean that this is only their third Supercross broadcast ever. So with all that being said, I feel like they're doing a pretty good job, and yeah, just the fact that it's better than the one before, I feel like that's all we can really ask for. But then we'll get into the results. First off, we'll start with the 450 class because that's where the real action is, and we got a three-way championship fight. Three riders, 1 point apart, with Jason Anderson, Joey Savatgy, and Christian Craig. That's the championship lineup, and that was the finishing order from round 4 for the Swedish GP, with El Hombre getting the GP win, his first of the season on the Zook. He was just kicking it. He and Savatgy went into that third main tied, 1-2 and a 2-1, and Jason just made it happen in the early laps, early couple of corners, I should say. Joey had the chance to give him a T-bone steak and kind of give him some payback from main 2, but yeah, just didn't quite commit to it. Settled for the second place, and yeah, Anderson gets the win and now the points lead. He shares it with Joey Savatgy, actually. And yeah, second overall in the GP, Joey Savatgy also tied for the points lead. And really, Joey was the fastest guy and the best rider, I feel like, all day, all night. That first main, he just crushed it. Second main, he was all over El Hombre. And, yeah, Hombre did a classic Team Fried move and just diced him up. But yeah, even that third main, I feel like if they had left the track super rutted, like Joey kind of commented on the podium, I feel like he probably would have had an easy win. But Hombre did damage in those early laps when the track was still a little bit fresher and prepped up. And then by the end, Joey started making up some ground, but one or two mistakes was all it took to where he couldn't catch up to Jason. And yeah, he definitely couldn't have won the championship of Sweden, but he definitely could have lost it. So good on him to not do that. Now he's still tied up, and yeah, the dude controls his own destiny going into South Africa for round 5. And now that I say that, so does Christian Craig. Rounds out the podium, third overall in the GP, and they all control their own destiny. I mean, it's definitely a winner-take-all national, quite literally. But that was a rough night for Craig. I kind of had a feeling once I saw the dirt and how it was basically quicksand, I had a feeling he was going to struggle, at least compared to Australia last weekend, because he's a really good hard pack, slippery, when there's no traction, he can find it kind of guy, and this track was the complete opposite. So after even a crash in the second main, I feel like this was a good night for him to limit the damage. Again, couldn't have won the title tonight, but he definitely could have lost it, and he didn't lose it. He's still right there, 1 point behind, and yeah, with no wild cards left, a lot of the big names now out of the series. You would think maybe some of the air's out of it, some of the excitement's lost, but yeah, coming into this final round in South Africa with 3 guys going for a title, it's going to be a banger. I can't wait. But then as you get into the rest of the 450 class, the results were all jumbled up. Fourth place was Henry Miller, and there was one of the mains, he even DNF'd, but he did so good in the other 2 that he still ended up with a 4th overall. And these should be the results. I unfortunately had to calculate them myself because the World Supercross website still didn't have the results up by the time I wanted to do this video, which was, I don't know, like 30 minutes after the race was over. But Miller should be 4th. Tixier should be 5th. He was another one. He had a moto with no points, but he had 2 good motos with points. So Tixier rounds out the top 5. Then 6th, Moto Concepts Ryan Brees. 7th for Ander Valentin, his first race of the series. And then an 8th for Devin Simonson. Great third main event for him, getting a 5th in that long one. And yeah, he, like almost everybody else in this top 5 through 10, he had a moto where he didn't get any points, and that one killed him in the results because had he just scratched and clawed his way to a few, maybe he could have been a 4th place. But yeah, if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle, and she does not. But rounding out the top 10, a 9th for Austin Politelli. Another one, he had one bad main, and he crashed in it. He could have been another one. The 4th spot could have been his, but woulda, shoulda, coulda. And then 10th place, Vince Freezy. We saw him back up front. It's been a quiet season from him, and I don't just mean that because he's on a Stark Varg. We just really haven't seen or heard much from him. But in that second main, he shot into the lead. I thought he was going to cross jump, torpedo, and just full-blown smash Jason Anderson on that double out of the corner. But insane rider awareness from El Hombre to check up and let Vince jump from right to left and do his thing there. But yeah, luckily there were no casualties there, and Vince kind of made his way onto the back. It definitely seems like he's struggling a little bit on the electric bike. He's not quite the same as he was on the Moto Concepts platform, which he was on for like, I don't know, 10, 11 years. So kind of makes sense that he's totally jumping ship, jumping from combustion to AA batteries and all that. The struggle's kind of inevitable, but he's still out there, still putting in the laps, and a top 10 overall for Vinny. Then the 250 class, the streak is over, but it's still first overall for Max Anstie. And if there were ever a race for that streak to end, I would feel like this would be the track for it to happen on. He was challenged big time in the first main. Second main was a runaway, but yeah, when he got to that third main and the track was absolutely haggard and totaled, you kind of got to weigh the options and what's important. You know, yeah, perfect season would be cool, but a championship would probably be a lot cooler. Winning the GP would be a lot cooler and a lot more financially rewarding. I'm pretty sure the perfect season wouldn't even pay him $1 more than the championship or the win, so very smart veteran move from Max Anstie to just kind of back it down and get the win. But as I say that, I don't want to take anything away from the guys that beat him in that third main event because they absolutely rode their balls off. Second overall for Enzo Lopes. Vamos Enzo. Nothing too special out of him in the first couple of main events, but that last one, very assertive in the first couple of corners because Anstie got the whole shot and Enzo just blitzed his way past. And yeah, dude, he pulled away, never looked back, and that looked like the Enzo Lopes from 2-3 years ago when he was on Club MX, podium contender in AMA Supercross. And some of you may forget, I mean, this guy was on Star Yamaha, poised to do big things, and then he had, I don't know if it was a wrist injury. He had something to where his hand was going numb, something crazy like that, and it totally ruined the trajectory. So hopefully these are some signs of Enzo Lopes getting back to where he used to be. And then third overall, last spot on the podium for Shane McElrath. 2 good weekends in a row after a couple of bad weekends to start the season. And I thought he was maybe going to get that first main event win all over Michael Hicks, but just didn't quite strike while the iron was too hot and let Anstie get the move done on him right when he got the move done on Hicks. But still, to be on the podium on the Quad Lock Honda team, I would say neither of them can be too bummed about that, but when you got the #1 plate and you're the defending champ, it's kind of hard to settle for anything other than a W. Then a fourth place, electric supremacy, or not quite supremacy, but a great result from Michael Hicks on the Stark Varg. And I was a little bit bummed on the broadcast. I don't remember who it was, but they were talking about how the Stark Varg was good in the fresh conditions. And I would like to agree to disagree. I think it's just Michael Hicks who's good in those conditions. I mean, the Stark Varg, it's got its pros, it's got its cons, but Michael Hicks is an unbelievable rider. I've seen him do great things on a 250, on a 450, on an electric bike, you name it, he shreds on it. So I'm definitely putting this more down to the rider rather than the bike. And fourth overall, really good ride. He was close to the podium, but close but no cigar. And then rounding out the top 5, what could have been, the poor dude went to Indonesia heavy. He bought a whole row of condos there, but seems like it buffed out and he's all good. But a 5th overall for Cody Schock, and he just barely keeps the championship alive headed into South Africa. But then rounding out the top 10 in this 250 class, a quiet 6th place for Cullen Park, a 7th for Robbie Wageman on the Just Kicking It Suzuki, which, if I'm not mistaken, is far and above his best result of the series, so way to go, Robbie. Then an 8th for Maxime Dupre, 9th for Alex Larwood, who I believe that was his first race of the season, maybe a second one. They did just race in Australia, and he is Australian, but that's the first I've seen of his name. Good ride for a 9th, and then rounding up the top 10, doing it for Canada, it's Cole Thompson. But as far as round 4 in Sweden for World Supercross and today's video, that's all I got for you guys. As always, please let me know what you guys thought of the video, if you guys agree with my takes, if you disagree, if you liked the video, if you hated it, if you don't like how I talk, if you think I just suck at making videos, or whatever you think, you know we're here for all of it. But next weekend, South Africa for the final round of World Supercross, a 3-way championship finale, and not much on the line in the 250 class, but still a #1 plate to hand out. But yeah, we'll be here for a midweek preview next week and then a review following the race. And yeah, hope you guys are around to watch it. But thank you guys again for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Catch you guys next time.